Hello, everybody. It's Marlene of Life with Marlene, and welcome to today's conversation and topic. I definitely wanted to have this conversation and topic because it's very important to me as a person who lives in the state of Florida. I definitely want to be known for advocacy, protection, and important topics. Yeah, I'm a little bit dressed up a little bit because I just finished with a certain thing that I'll be talking about later. But how's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing amazing on this Saturday and you're in a good mind space and all things are well for you. And I am it's really important for us to not take this lightly, that it's hurricane season. And I know that for many people like myself who kind of like, okay, yeah, it's hurricane season, and, kind of have that attitude that nothing will happen, everything's going to be okay. But it's important for us to plan not only for ourselves, but for your children, for pets, for the elderly, for your job, like what is going to happen, and we're going to have that conversation. So, to anybody who is in the path of the hurricane, I hope that you will listen to the news reports, listen to local authorities, and also it's very important to know your evacuation route. I've lived in Florida for many years, but at the same time, I never knew like what was my evacuation route. Because why that's important to know what your evacuation route is, because you need to know, not evacuation route, evacuation zone. I'm sorry, I apologize. You need to know what zone you are in, because when the news comes on, it says those who are in zone A, B, C, D, whatever zone you're in. And if you really don't know what zone you're in, you don't know about the imminent danger and all of those things. So, first, I want to say to anybody who is in the path of a hurricane, please listen to the authorities. Please do what you're supposed to do and don't be hard headed, because we can never be too safe, and especially those who have children, pets. You need to think about those things from now. Okay, what will I do with my pets? What will my elderly parents or those who have special needs and those who have like breathing devices. You need to think about having extra tanks and pumps, and those who need medicine and all of those things, to make sure we have what we need in order to be okay. So, first off, I want to start off by saying, when does hurricane season start? Actually, hurricane season started in Florida here, the first week of June. Let me read it. Corey says, yes, it roughly begins in June with the start of the 6 month hurricane season. So, usually in my area of Florida, hurricane season starts to really show up like the second to the third week of June, and it continues on to about, I would say, November, sometimes October. It depends. But I feel like for me personally, the worst months for the hurricane season are usually between September and November. Those are the most serious times. And I wanted to talk about this because we don't want to wait until the last minute. And I know, coming from, my childhood, and I've known so many people, they wait for the last minute to get the supplies that they need. And we're also going to talk about what kind of supplies that we need for hurricane season. It's important to have the things that we want and we need, because you never know. it could be lots of rain, it could be flooding, or we may not have the financial means to be able to buy things at that time when it is happening. There could be a loss of power. It's so many things that can be happening during the time of hurricane season that I feel like it's important to start talking and planning now. And some of the things that we can do, one thing that I have done for my family is making sure we have go bags and having those things set in place. Everybody has their own bags with the supplies that they need. And another important thing is to make sure you have your important documents, passport, birth certificate, doctor's things, important paperwork. And for me, I also put in pictures, things that cannot be replaced. And for me, those things are pictures. So I make sure I have my favorite album in my go bag, with my important paperwork and files and all of those things, because it's so much better to stay safe than to be sorry later. Hey, Miss Patty, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Saturday. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Yes, hi to everybody who's in the chat. If you guys have not already, please hit the like. I'd really appreciate it. And is I want to know if there's anybody who lives in a zone or a path. Do you get hurricanes in your area? Let me know. Miss Patty says, I'm well, thanks. Awesome. So, do you all live in an area where there are hurricanes? That's what I want to know. So, we're going to start off by talking about some things that we need. I'm going to share my screen and show this. So, this information is not for me. I found this on a website, and I want to talk about it and share the screen. And that's what I'm going to do right here. Okay. I hope that's sharing. Okay. I think I'm going to show my whole screen. Let's see how I do that. Okay. So I want to show this so you guys can see close up what I am seeing as well. It's so important for us to talk about building an emergency supply kit, and this applies even to those who are not in the path of a hurricane. Just in general, like, a disaster preparedness kit. It could also apply to somebody who experiences tornadoes and storms. You never know when you will need to have a backup, and maybe not able to go to the store, maybe not able to, you know, with maybe there being some food shortages. Make sure you having a supply of the things that you need for yourself and your family, just in case you are incapable of getting certain things, or maybe if just the supplies just run out. So, according to this website, unitetolight.org, um, it shows what you should have. Okay. And it's important to have the basic items so that you can build a kit for yourself. And one thing that I didn't know is that you should have 1 gallon per person per day for 3 days. 1 gallon per person per day. So you have 4 people, it should be 4 gallons per day. And I was like, because usually I would have like a gallon. Yeah, but it was a gallon for us to share. So I definitely had to, up my game and make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And for me, I was trying my best to make sure I had at least a week's worth of food, a week's worth of water, and a week's worth of the things that you need, because you're not going to most likely have power. So making sure we also have like batteries and flashlights, and for me, portable fans or portable air conditioner is so important. And if you can afford it, having a generator. That's something that's so important so that you won't lose power and have to worry about, being melting hot or being very cold, because yes, hurricane season is starting right now while it's warm. So either you can be very hot or you can be very cold, because hurricane season goes all the way until October to November. So it could be either temperatures that can make us very uncomfortable. So getting a generator is something that I feel like is something that's very important to have also as well. Let's see. Yes, happy Saturday to everybody. Hi, Bella. How are you doing? Welcome. Appreciate you being here. I mean, Kristen. I don't know. I always want to say Bella. Um, Miss Patty says, we have felt the impact of hurricanes. We had lots of hurricanes in my home state of southern Louisiana. My family always stayed prepared. I believe in prepping. Yeah. And that's why I wanted to start having these conversations now. I'm also going to do a vlog once I go to the store and get the items. I'm going to be doing like probably 2 or 3 vlogs, because I'm not rich. I can't get everything at one time. But I'm talking about it now, and I'm going to start with doing certain things, like one vlog about certain things. And I will be showing you the things that I get so that I can be prepared, because I'm not just saying this just to say and to not live it. I'm saying it based on experience, and I'm taking my own advice to make sure that I'm prepared, because I've been on the side of not preparing for anything, and then at the last minute making this mad dash to the store and having to deal with people, and people can be very aggressive and pushing, and there's price gouging, and it's just a complete mess, and just the amount of stress trying to grab and get things at the last minute. And sometimes when you do that and wait and get things at the last minute, they don't always have the things that you actually want. So, preparation is important. We're being prepared and we're planning and doing what we need to so that we can be okay and our families, and we don't have to worry. It's just one more thing that we should be prepared for. Okay. Now, did you all know that you should have 3 day supply of non-perishable food? So, that means food that is canned, and food that does not have to be refrigerated. All of those things. One thing that my family does is we have food that is prepped already for when it's storm time. It's frozen, but it's already seasoned and everything. So when that food thaws out, all we'll have to do is take that food and put it on the grill and start, cooking it right then and there. So we won't have to worry about that part. Um, and it's very important, this right there. We don't really think about first aid. In emergency, you don't know what you'll need. And we know about having a first aid kit and all the things that go into a first aid kit: gloves and dressing, antibiotic ointment, and so on and so forth. But some other things to make sure we have as well is things like whatever prescription and non-prescription drugs we may need: aspirin, maybe Aleve, Tylenol, whatever is your pain reliever of choice. Maybe some anti-diarrhea medicine, some antacids, whatever it is that your family would need. Because I know when we went through a hurricane in the past, for being so hot, I got terrible migraine headaches, the heat, because we did not have a generator. So it was so hot that being over hot caused me to have horrible migraine headaches. And I definitely did not have the Excedrin. I'm not um, I'm not being sponsored by them or anything, but I didn't have my pain reliever that I needed for my headaches. And, you want to make sure you have exactly what you would need. And now, having gone through that, I can speak on that. Make sure you have what you need. Because, you have to think about the worst situation. What if the power goes off? What if there's flooding? What if I can't leave the house? And think about certain situations, and are you going to stay in place, or are you going to leave? And what route are you going to take? And one thing that I have not seen on here yet is when you are preparing your go kit, make sure that you have some cash on hand. That's something that I have seen, like in the mad dash of everything. um, I've seen so much people rushing to the ATM and trying to get money out of the ATM. And during those times, the ATMs sometimes are not working or functioning, or the ATMs run out of money because so much people are trying to rush and get cash money. Because think about it, during a hurricane, there's not going to be power, there's not going to be a lot of things. So, you got to think that some things are going to be down, and you're not going to be able to have access to use things like debit cards and so on and so forth. So make sure you're having enough cash on hand so that you can do some cash transactions, especially for certain things like getting gas. That's another thing, to make sure that you're filling up your gas tank, that you have enough, a full tank of gas when you know that there's an impending hurricane coming. Make sure you go ahead and fill up your tank, because I know here in Florida we have had to where they've run out of gas at the gas stations, and if you didn't fill up, you would be in line in for gas, and the line is around the corner, wrapped around the corner, and by the time you get up there, they said gas is out. So that's something to think about. We don't think about all of these things when we're going through this stuff, but it's important to start thinking about it. I try to keep a little bug out bag. Awesome, Miss Patty. That's a great idea. Hi, Coach Sherry. How are you doing? Welcome. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Are they forecasting a lot of hurricanes this season? Yes. When I looked on the website, it says that we're having more hurricanes this season than ever before. So that kind of gets my spidey sense tingling. I'm definitely a planner. I like to make sure I have things arranged. I like to make sure, like not all at one time, but little by little, taking little steps to make sure you have your food, and another time make sure you have like the supplies like flashlights and batteries and things like that. Make sure you have wipes. We're definitely a wipes family and not toilet paper. So make sure you're having those things, and candles and lighters. um, um, if you don't have it already, maybe a grill, or a sterno, so that however it is that you're going to cook during this time and keep your family fed. We like sternos. We like using a grill, and yeah, all those things. To make sure that you can keep your family comfortable. We like those fans that they have, like when you go to Disney World, that has like a spritzer in it with a fan, or having portable AC units that is runs on batteries. Those are important to have at least maybe two in your home, like maybe one for the living room area so that everybody can camp into one space, or having one in one bedroom and having one in the living room, something like that. Those are very important to have as well. I had my son during a hurricane while living in New Orleans. He was 2 days old, and we had to go to the Superdome. Oh, wow. Well, I bet that was a very scary time, Coach Sherry. So if you have a baby, make sure you have diapers. we had a dog, and too, so dog food was important. Yeah, and make sure you have, like, make sure that wherever you're going to go, like if you have a pet, like my family does, we have a pet. So to make sure that wherever it is, that if you need to evacuate, that they allow pets, because some places do not allow you to go there with pets. So it's all of those things, like thinking ahead and planning, because a lot of people don't think about things like that. They feel that shelters should allow pets and some don't. Yeah, we've already done that, because that's the thing that we have for us. We have for, the insurance, to make sure all our valuables are listed and videoed and all of those things, just in case, it becomes very dangerous and you have to actually leave. Yeah, to make sure you have the things that you actually need. Yeah, portable chargers and transition radios. Yes, those are very important, to make sure you have things that you can charge your devices, like, because I know that it's a big issue, when the power comes cuts off. Sometimes you may not have power for days at a time. So for us, we made sure that we bought multiple um, chargers, to make sure that when that one dies, and how long is the battery life of those said chargers, because most of the time it will let you have a charge for like 12 hours. So if the power will be gone, say at least 3 days, you need to have um, 6 chargers per person in your go bag, so that it's not, and nobody runs out their devices, their phones. Also making sure that you have the things that you need, your medicines, and so on and so forth, so that your family can be okay. I can imagine what that was like during a storm, Coach Sherry, being from that area. Thank God you all made it through. Yes, I'm so grateful, for anybody who has been through anything like Coach Sherry, and Coach Sherry included. I'm so glad that we escaped, and we're safe and okay. And that's the reason for planning and why it's so important. Yes, our dog was able to go into the coach's locker room. Awesome. That's amazing. I'm glad that that happens. So let's go back to talking about some other supplies that we need for the hurricane preparedness. So we talked about having prescription drugs, but sometimes we don't really think about the sanitation part. This female supplies, are women. Make sure you have whatever it is that you need in your feminine supplies, pads, tampons, soap, toilet paper, bleach, um, all of those things that will make you feel comfortable during that time. And this is something that can be, I never really thought about it, making sure that you have a light source. And according to this website, unite2light.com, it says that solar is the best, so that you don't have to worry about batteries, but making sure that you have multiple things, like we do. We have candles. We also have, what is it called, that you light. I can't think of the term right now, but it's fed on a oil. I can't think of it. I'm sure I'll come up with the thought what it is later, but it's something that we use back home in Jamaica. So we have that, and lamps and other things that are battery powered, but making sure you have a bright light, so that you're not just in the dark and miserable. And something that I didn't think about is having a fire extinguisher, just in case there's a fire. Making sure you have that, and having a wrench so you can turn off your gas and your water lines, just in case. And also, matches, and the we have, I thought I had one close by, but I don't. But the flicker, to light candles, having some of those and keeping those in a container so that they can stay dry. And all of the, maybe even getting some camping equipment, because sometimes you may have to stay in a vehicle, stay in a car. So, having things like some a sleeping bag, having sleeping bag and those supplies, a tent. You may have to camp outside. You never know how it's going to be when you go through something. It's always better to have certain things than to not have the things you need. And this is something that I didn't think about putting into my kit, is a manual can opener, because we do have the electric can openers. So that's something I'm adding to my list, having a manual can opener for those canned foods, and also having some duct tape. Now let me go back to the chat right here. Yes. During hurricane season, does your family have your items on hand in one place at all times? Yes, we have in Ziploc bags. We have our papers like birth certificate, passport, so on and so forth, and also like deed to the house, insurance, blah, blah, blah. We have all of those things in each of our individual bags. So whenever the time comes, all we have to do is grab our bag and we can get out of there. So, yes, thank you so much, Coach Sherry. That is something true. We need to have something on hand, because during when something is happening, we're not always thinking the best. So it's better, like right now, to make sure you just keep those important items on hand in place, that all you have to do is probably maybe add like some of your favorite items, probably like your phone and certain things that you will add when it's time for you to leave. Okay. And this is a thing that I think is really important. The important documents, like I was saying, in preparation, scan valuable documents and store them securely online so they can't be ruined. This is something that I know that I need to do, that I have not done. I have the physical copies, but scanning them, your insurance cards, social security number, passwords, insurance policies, as well as taking short a catalog valuable of your valuables in your home, such as vehicles, computers, furniture, artwork for insurance purposes, and key documents are a will, insurance policies, contracts, deeds, passports, social security cards, immunization records, bank account numbers, credit card account numbers, family records, birth, marriage, and death certificates. So, yeah, all of those things that I think that are really important. So that's all the list of everything that I saw right there. And I want to come to this. I'm going to share the screen here. Okay, let me see if it's sharing it now. Okay, yeah, it is sharing it. So, according to what I see here on Google, it says that what is the worst month for hurricanes? According to me, my personal thought from our experience living in Florida, I say that it is usually between October and December. But it says the official hurricane season for the Atlantic basin is from June 1st to November 30th. But a tropical cyclone activity sometimes occurs before and after these dates, respectively. The peak of the Atlantic hurricane season is September 10th, with the most activity occurring between mid August and mid October. So, I was saying um, October to December. So, yeah, but these things are not something that is going to be by a list and we're going to know exactly. Things change, the weather changes, things can happen to disrupt. And that's why it's so important for us to have conversations like this, to plan, to be prepared so that we can have the things that we need. Yeah, scanning them is a great idea. I did not think about that. So I definitely will be working on that on my next day off, making sure I go and start scanning some things and putting it in my iCloud so that I can be able to access it later, because you never know. We never know what will happen to us. We never know what dangers could be happening, so we have to be so careful. Hi, Miss Tamika. How are you doing? Welcome. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Oh, really? Coach Sherry? Oh, wow. He's right in the midst of the season, isn't he? Yes. Welcome in, Miss Tamika. So, also I want to share what area. See, I live on the 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 um the Tampa Bay area of Florida, but according to this, it says which part of Florida gets the worst storms. So, what are the regions that get most impacted by the hurricanes? It says hurricane activity varies across the state, with specific regions facing a higher risk of getting hit by storms. Historically, Northwest Florida and the Florida Keys have been the hardest hit regions. And I know from being in Florida for so many years, it's usually South Florida, like the Keys, Jacksonville, Miami, and so forth, that get hit the hardest. Not saying that things don't happen in the Tampa Bay area, but most of the time we usually just get lots of rain and wind and down trees, and loss of power. That's usually the biggest things that happen, but anything can happen at any time. So I think that's important to note too. I speak about this because I think that it's so important for us to think, because I know a lot of people who live in my area. Oh, nothing will happen. Nothing happens in this area. Nothing has ever happened, right? And the one time when you don't prepare for something, that is when something will occur. And that's the reason why I'm a planner. I'm by nature. I'm a planner. I have to know where things are. I have to, because it will help me to relax. And because I don't want to be like freaking out. Oh my goodness, I don't have anything I need. And then what if stores are closed, or what if there's shortages? Because I know back in, what year was that? 2017, or was it 2018? I'm not sure, but it was one of those. It was either 2017 or 2018. They completely ran out of water. There was absolutely no water in the store. So those who did not have water were out, and not that you couldn't get water from the faucet, but most of the time during that time when you lose power, the water quality is not very good during that time. So I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend, the best thing that you could do is get yourself some water, and especially if you have like a fridge that has a filter, fill up some gallons. Or one of my friends, she gets those really tall ones that goes for your water cooler, and fill those up and have them and put it on the side, so you have that you know available to you if and when you need it. It's always better to have things, or to have an extra amount, than to not have enough, because you don't want to be like we're saying 3 days, but what if it lasts for a week, 2 weeks, or a month? You want to make sure it's always better to have more, because when these hurricanes happen, sometimes there's a few days before they can get a truck with relief, to get food and water and soap and toilet tissue and so on and so forth. So, I'm definitely, I guess you could say I'm a little extra when it comes to those things. I like to have way more than what I think we would need. Make sure, especially not have make sure you have enough toilet paper, because I think that's disgusting to not have toilet paper and paper towel and soap and water. For me, that's like you got to have lots and lots of those things. So I make sure I have a hurricane supply that is not touched at the moment right now, that has nothing to do with your regular stock for your day to day. Let's see. Coach Sherry says they say hurricanes come from the souls of our ancestors, and that didn't make it across the Middle Passage. Hurricanes start on the African shores. Wow, I didn't know that. I never heard that before, Coach Sherry. Exactly. There's always a first time. It's better to be proactive than and not reactive. Exactly. Yes, water is so essential. And I think, about if you have relatives, if you have like your grandparents or elderly, or those who are disabled, those who have wheelchairs, or so on and so forth, to make sure that they have the things that they need. I'm going to put the link in here if there's anybody who has something to add to this discussion, because I can't think about everything that you may need during a hurricane. If there's something that I missed, or if something that you want to add. And I also make sure that I pack some extra things, like towels, putting in your car or your SUV, towels, blankets, sheets, things that will make you feel comfortable, because when it's that rainy season, you're going to want to have hoodies or something to keep you warm. Um, because in the wet, it usually gets cooler. So, making sure you have those like little rain jackets, maybe some boots or galoshes, things like that, so that you can feel comfortable, and not be cold and unprepared. You can't plan for everything, but making sure you have certain things in place, like a pair of galoshes or boots, making sure you have like a little the thin, what I think they're called nylon, where the water beads fall off of it. Having one of those handy in your go bag, along with probably all your essentials that you need. And having like your snacks that you want, so that you can feel comfortable. But at this time, I want to talk about your elderly family. If you have elderly or special needs, or somebody who's in facilities, what is their plan? Are you going to take them with you, or are you going to let that be up to the facility? Those are some of the things that you have to think about when it comes to your special needs, your elderly, or anybody, even those who live in communities like townhomes, or someone who lives like near the water. You need to think about, okay, during this time when the water starts surging, when am I going to get out? Don't wait until it's too late, because I've seen some people, they wait too late, and unfortunately then they get stuck and they can't leave. And I would never want to see anybody in that situation to not have the things that they want and they need. I was obsessed with toilet paper at the height of C-19. Yeah, I remember during C-19, when there was no toilet paper, when there was no paper towels or facial tissue available, and also no hand sanitizer. That's something that I did not put in my go bag, that I think that I'm going to add the next time I go to the grocery store. I'm going to add that on my list. Having hand sanitizer and some hand wipes, because Got to think about it. There may not be water, so having things like wipes to wipe your hands, to make sure that you have the things that you need, is so important. Hi, Lilia. How are you doing? Welcome. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. I think that that's important to make sure you have wipes. I did not think about that. Make sure you have, like, all your personal things like toothbrush, toothpaste. I even have the little that you can buy. Those are the things that you get like at the hospital, but getting like the little trays that you can spit into, having those things, I think that that's important too. Hi, Mark. How are you doing? Welcome. I remember there was no toilet paper. Yeah, and that was awful. So if it's not the actual toilet paper, even making sure that you buy things like what is this thing called? The wet toilet paper, the ones that are like wipes. Making sure you have that as well, because maybe you may not be able to even use your toilet. um, I know that that sounds gross and disgusting, but may have to be out in nature during this time. It is what it is. Yeah, I remember no paper towels. Yes, there was. Thank you so much, Lily. I appreciate it. Windbreaker jackets. Pharmacy have good one size fits all rain ponchos. Yeah, that's important. They have those. They used to have them back in the day, like in the 90s and early 2000s. Like it was trending. So I still have my old school windbreakers, and I think my family does as well. There was that was for 2 months, March and April, even until May. There was no toilet paper, no paper towels. Yes, I remember that. I remember when there was no paper towel. For me, it seemed like it was 3 months, because everybody was trying to buy on Amazon, because all the local stores, nowhere, it didn't matter where you went from, Wally World to Target, it did not matter. Every single place had nothing, because everybody just went in. And you know how people are during disaster. People overreact, and they just go and they buy everything. So some people get all this stuff, right? Some people get so much, and then they leave nothing for the next person, which is very selfish and mean. And don't even get me started in the price gouging that happens. Yes, thank you so much for welcoming Mark and Lilia. Hey, Rudy, how are you? Welcome. Yes, they didn't even have baby wipes. Uh, yeah, and I think about when during the height of C-19, there was so like the people who had babies, that broke my heart. There was absolutely no baby food. There was no formula. There were like diapers were very hard to come by. It was awful. So, to anybody who has children at this time, make sure you really buy wipes. Or, you know, I'm old school. My mom, showed me about the old school. I don't know if everybody knows about this, but sometimes you have to go old school and get a container and use some paper towel and some baby wash, and put that into a container and make your own, DIY. Sometimes we have to do some DIY stuff in the midst of some hard times. So, just a tip. A friend of yours said use magazines. Yeah, I can imagine that. Thank you so much, Lilia. I appreciate it. You know what I have to do? Thank you so much for the super chat when the super chat hits. Thank you so much, Slice of Farming. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate that. Yeah. It was like that for 3 or 4 months. Even Amazon was sold out. Yeah. And I remember when there was price gouging. Price gouging happened in C19, but price gouging happens every single year when it comes to hurricane season, where they'd be like a case of water for $10, where it depends on where you live. Like a case of water costs like about $4 to $5. So they were like charging double the amount for basic necessities, which is against the law. I don't know if everybody knows that, but selling certain things for a higher price, that's price gouging, and it's a no-no. So if you see it where you live, report it. Okay. Hi, everybody. This is my first day here. Love the channel. Thank you so much, Mark. I appreciate you being here. Welcome to the channel. There was even a time where you couldn't get masks. Yes, that was another thing, too. Yep. Hey, Miss Angie. How are you doing? Welcome. Happy Saturday. I truly appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. I put the link in here if there's anybody who has something that they want to add to this conversation. We'll be here for about 15 more minutes. Um, I could not use newspaper because I found newspapers itchy. Oh my goodness. I was glad they put a limit on how much toilet paper you can buy. Yes, they have to put a limit on toilet paper, on water, um, what you call it, paper towel, everything that are essential items, because some people will try to go in the store and buy 6 or 7 of everything, and then there's nothing for anybody. And I think in my area, whenever we go into hurricane season, they put the limit of 2 per person. And what my family will do is, like, the 4 of us will go into the store, and then each one of us will get 2. So we still will get 8. So just a tip. If they limit 2 per person, you can go in with a few people and get the things that you actually need. You could even get Lysol spray. Lysol spray was $20 a bottle. Yes. Oh my goodness, that wasn't that awful. I feel like the C19 has prepared me for like the moment of right now. Yeah, you're right, Kristen. Um, I'm definitely a person who I like my wipes. Um, Even if you have to do your bootleg ones with paper towel. But if sometimes when there is no water, you have to get, what is it called? You have to get a raise your imagination. You have to get creative. You have to get creative. I'm relaxing home today. Thanks for asking. Awesome, awesome. Get your relaxation on. Mark says hand sanitizer was hard to come by for 6 months. No, no good. No hand sanitizer. Yeah. So right now, because I don't see I see a lot of it in the store, and even for myself, making sure I get alcohol. I think getting alcohol, hydrogen peroxide, band-aids, the essential things like in a first aid kit, buying that now and not waiting till later, because I find that when there's a shortage of things, the price always goes up, even in the stores. Like, okay, like last week, those band-aids were like $1.25, and now it's $2.75 because of the supply and demand thing. So that's something that we have to pay attention and be careful for. And I think it's important for us to think about and plan these things, plan for your children. Like, okay, if it's during a school season, are you going to keep them out of school? How much does it cost for your family to eat? And make sure you do, like, Okay, how much food do I need per person per day? Thinking about those things like, okay, I'm going to get this much. This will feed breakfast, lunch, and dinner for one person, and then multiply it. At least, everybody, please at least try to get at least 3 days worth of food. But if you could get a week, that would be amazing. And, your family would appreciate it. I know that I appreciate it. I was very happy that I was a planner. And when we had our last hurricane season, I was very happy that I wasn't in the mad rush of pushing people. No, I'm not saying push people, but I mean like being in that crowd of people trying to grab water, trying to grab supplies, that I had the things that I need. And I think I just only went in to probably get um batteries. I think that was the only thing that I had left. And I found something last hurricane season at Walmart. It was one of those flashlights that it was like 97 cents, but the light was really bright. If I find it, I'll probably put it in a vlog video when I'm showing everything that I buy when I start going to the store to plan my go bag, my bug out bag for hurricane season. So I'll be sharing that in a future vlog. So you guys look forward to seeing that. Angie says, we always buy extra hand towels, paper towel, and water. Yeah, that's important, especially during the season, because we can never be too sure. And I have these conversations to let you guys know, like, don't wait for the last minute. Don't procrastinate. I know that it's easy and we're busy, and most of us, we work, we have responsibilities, and we're not really thinking about these things, but we don't want it to get it to like now there's no food, or now it's the food that your family doesn't like, because that's not pleasant at all. You're already uncomfortable, and now I'm in Florida, Mark. Um, this like when it's hurricane season, make sure you have enough food. It was awful one year. You don't want to be like, now you don't have no power, it's hot or it's cold, and on top of that you don't have the food that you like because you were forced to buy whatever it is, like name whatever is the food that you don't like, and now you're stuck eating this food for the next 3 days because you had no other choice. Yes, Angie, batteries. Batteries is so important. Yeah, batteries is so important. And make sure you have the batteries, and having as much things as you can have that is not dependent on power, like your a transistor radio, having sources that you can power up your things. Those are all the things that is so important for us to have. Mark says, I survived Hurricane Sandy, no power for 1 month in the whole state of New Jersey, and it was only 30 degrees in the house. Oh my goodness, that's awful. Oh, yeah, no hotels at all, Mark. Wow. That's one of the reasons why I love having a close, you should, everybody, if you live in a place where hurricanes happen, get in good with a person at a hotel, your favorite hotel, that, and you talk to them, I want to be on standby. Okay. I've already talked to my lady from my local hotel, and making sure that as soon as if anything ever happens, I want you to make sure my family, we want 3 rooms. Okay. I already have that in place just in case where I am is not safe. I then don't want to be stressed out and trying to go from hotel to hotel, and trying to get someplace to go and to be. So it's one of those things to think about, getting good with somebody, or make sure that you are have enough gas in your tank, that if you have to drive, and make sure if you have to leave and go somewhere, make sure you have enough gas, make sure you have your snacks, so you're not going to the gas station and paying $7 for a case of water, or all the snacks that you need, especially if you have kids. Make sure you have the snacks and all those things. I had no heat for a month. You should have got a generator. But anyways, now I'm in Florida. Awesome, Mark. That's awesome. I'm happy. I'm happy for you. I'm glad that you survived. And having conversations like this is so important. We don't really think about what could happen. We don't want to be like crazy or obsessed with it, but just being knowledgeable enough to say, okay, I need to make sure I have food and make sure I have clothing, whether it's going to be warm clothing like tank tops and shorts and those things, or also making sure you have, maybe your flannel and hoodies, jogging suits, things like that, your sneakers and socks. And one thing that I did not put on here is having the little uh, um, washing machine. You can buy them now on Temu and Amazon. Not that I'm not being sponsored or to say that, but you can find like um, a washing machine that you don't have to use power. That all you have to do is just add the water and it spins and does everything. And of course, you're not going to have a dryer, to dry the clothes, but at least your clothes will be clean. It's things like that you have to think about in advance, making sure you have, how are you going to wash clothes, especially if you will be without power and clothes gets dirty. Maybe even if you can only wash 3 or 4 items at a time, but at least you have something. Having something is better than nothing. That's what I say. My power went out for 3 hours, 95 degrees. Oh, I can't imagine, Mark. Yes, Miss Angie, having extra medicine, that's key. It's highly important to do that. All hotels were booked for the whole state. Any hotels that are open were charging $67 a night, 700 a night. Ford. It was a cheap hotel. Wow. We froze. We had the elderly parent, 95 years old, freezing to death. Yeah, and that's something that that they have. Oh boy, I wish I had it here, but there's a thing that you can charge up, hand heaters. Usually those who live up north know all about those hand warmers. Having those will probably save you. So put that in your to go bag. Having hand heaters. And for us living in Florida, having both, because you never know, you could be where it's a little bit colder or it could be hot. Making sure you have those hand warmers. Also making sure you have the fans with the spritzers so that you can get some comfort or some coolness, all of those things. Yeah, for the whole week. Everything shut down, right? And, like I said earlier, and also making sure that you pull out some money from the ATM so that you have cash money on hand. So, thank you guys so much for tuning into this conversation. I feel like it was a very important one. You guys stay tuned. I think it's going to be next week. I'm going to start putting in, start doing like probably 1 of 4 series in getting things that I need for my hurricane supplies kit. I definitely have looked into getting a generator, but the basic things. So one will probably be food. One will probably be like the other things like electric things. Maybe some things will be from Amazon, but yeah. The only place I was open was McDonald's, and it was $10 for a burger, $7 for um, frizz. I don't know what that is. $6 for a cup of coffee. Yeah, I remember during the last hurricane The only place that was open was IHOP, and it was $10 for a sandwich and fries. $10. And we had no choice because like at that point all of our food had run out, and we just had to go wherever we could and get something, and it was not the best. It was not even good. I didn't We didn't even enjoy it because there was so much people there. We were aggravated. We waited almost 45 minutes to an hour to get something, and then by the time you get it, it wasn't even good. It was an awful experience. So, live and learn. And I will also say, like, I hope you guys have like a deep freezer or something that you can put lots of things in it, and lots of coolers that you can separate for, whatever it is that you need, and keep them separate, while, when your fridge goes out, that you can still have the things that you need. Thank you so much, Mark. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. So I'm gonna probably put that in the tag, preparedness for hurricanes as well. So I thank you guys so much. I appreciate everybody's support, and I will see you guys later on tonight, probably around 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm going to be doing the 10 content creators that you should know. If you're available, come on through. I'd appreciate it. And if you can't, tune in tomorrow where it's going to be a new vlog. I think the vlog that's coming out tomorrow is, hold on, let me look. I think the one that comes out tomorrow is, let me look right here. Let's see. Tomorrow, when I went to Albert Whitted Park, which is here in St. Petersburg. And yeah, all of those things. So if you guys can come through tomorrow or tonight, I always appreciate everybody's support, those who support me and come through. Yeah, I appreciate everybody. Everybody have a great rest of your day. And if you can come through later and come through and support the 10 content creators that you should know, I'd appreciate it. And, we always do some YouTube talk after that. And if not, catch the replay. And if anybody can run a playlist, I'd appreciate it. We're at, I believe, 3,400 watch hours, trying to get those last 600 hours to get full monetization over here. We have partial, but I would like to have full monetization. That would be nice, but we'll see. We'll wait. Okay. Yeah, the banks were definitely all closed. Thank you so much, Mark. Shout out to all my mods. Shout out to everybody who supports me and supports this channel. See you guys later. Everybody have a great rest of your day. And thank you so much for tuning in to Life with Marlene, where I do vlogs, motivation, reviews, all things Florida. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and share this out with somebody that you know so that you can be prepared for the upcoming hurricane season. See you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.